Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about Blade 2, and this movie is directed by Guillermo del Toro and it came out in 2002 and stars Wesley Snipes, and I enjoyed this movie. I liked it more than the first movie, and the first movie I thought was alright, it was passable, and this movie I think it was an improvement. And unlike the first movie, it's not just a generic superhero movie that it exists and it's kind of dated, but there isn't really much to take away from it. This movie has more to it, and I think Guillermo del Toro brought a decent amount to this movie, and there's some really interesting creature designs in this movie, and that's one of my favorite parts about this movie is that some of the vampire characters and the creature designs and the makeup effects, they look great. And the action in this movie is pretty fun for the most part when it's not fully CG humans, because whenever they used CGI in this movie, for the most part, it looks pretty bad and pretty dated. But aside from those cheesy special effects that only happen every once in a while, the action is fun and it's an entertaining movie for me, and I like the character of Blade and like what they're going for with him. And that's to pretty much just make him really cool and awesome and be like, wow, that was cool. I like how he's portraying himself in this situation. And that's pretty much just the goal of the movie, is just to be really cool, much like the first movie. And Wesley Snipes, I think he does a really good job in this movie, and he definitely brings a decent amount to this movie, and it's really entertaining for me. And for most of the movie, he has sunglasses on, and that's pretty much just to make him look cool, and it's very much like The Matrix, just to be really cool, even though the first Blade came out before The Matrix. But it's still fun for me to watch. I really enjoyed the first two acts of the movie. I enjoyed the simplicity of it, and there isn't a whole lot going on story-wise, and there's one action scene that goes on for a long time, and it's pretty much just hunting down this new species of vampires, and you have the villain and hero team up and just take down this new villain, and that was interesting and kind of fun. And this new vampire species is also kind of cool. But once we get to the third act, that's when things kind of start to fall apart for me, is that things get really stupid. Even for a superhero movie, it gets pretty stupid, and the end fight scene kind of reminded me of Kill Bill. Even though this movie came out before Kill Bill, I couldn't help but think to myself, this is just a worse version of that movie. And if this movie came out today, you would probably say that this movie is just a copy of a bunch of other movies, just done worse. But since it came out before, I'm not going to take off points for that, but it's just really unfortunate that there are many other movies that came out after this movie that did what this film did, but much better. And the reason why I don't really like the third act of this movie all too much is because I'm not really interested in the story that much. And the first two acts, there's very little story going on. It's mostly held together by the action and the character, our main character, Blade, and his motivation just to kill these vampires. And that's all I really want. But once it gets into that third act and kind of becomes something a little bit more, and things are revealed, that's where it kind of loses me, because I just don't care. It's kind of just been there, done that. I don't need this. And that's about all I have to say about Blade 2. It's much of the first movie done all over again, but done a bit better, I feel. And there's a bit more value here, and you don't need to see the first movie in order to get into this one, surprisingly, because they pretty much just explain what happened in the first movie, and like Blade's origin, and they do that with a couple flashbacks, and you can just go right to this movie without even bothering with the first movie at all, which is kind of nice and cool. And I'm glad I watched it, but it's not a movie that I will ever rewatch, because I don't think though I will get anything more out of it from a second viewing. I feel as though I got everything that I wanted out of just one viewing, and while it's not a bad movie at all, it's just that there are many other films that are like this that came out after it that I just think are much better than this. But I would say give this movie at least one watch, because I feel as though that's what it's worth. And with that being said, I'm going to give Blade 2 a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Blade 2, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for War of the Worlds, directed by Steven Spielberg, so look forward to that. But until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.